It's been more than a year since the Red River overflowed its banks and flooded fields and pastures in northwestern Louisiana. In the Delta, it was heavy rains last March, which sent the Bouef River into flood. According to Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain, Louisiana has yet to see any recovery money from the federal government for that disaster. However, that has not stopped farmers from moving forward.
Wading through chest-deep water. That's what Dustin Morris was doing on March 10th of 2016. Just more than a year later, he's walking the same path from his power unit, just this time it's a lot drier.
One of the things I remember most about this experience was how cold this water was. This was as cold as I'd ever been in my life. As I walked out and waded to this power unit, and then as we came back to get it later on in the day, it was just absolutely freezing.
The cold waters cut deep into Morris's memory and into the land on this part of Double M Farms.
And up here in front of me, we see where this ground has started washing. We've never had washing problems here before, but because of that immense rain, the 20-something inches that we got in just a day or so, we've got a lot of washes on this farm that we've got to get back under control.
To regain control of his farm, Morris had to replant 300 acres of his corn crop and delay planting all his other crops. That caused the crops to yield 10% less than the previous year, not enough to trigger payments from crop insurance.
We just need different types of insurance. We need true shallow loss problems, or shallow loss coverage, I guess, because last year across the farm, because of the floods and the way our planting dates were changed, we had average yields were down 10%. And if you bought a 75% insurance policy, you'd have to be down 25% before you triggered it. But with the margins we're working on now, those kind of insurance, they don't do us any good.
Overall, agriculture in Louisiana took a $310 million hit, according to Louisiana Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain. He's gone to Washington to ask for $50 million in aid. Congress approved 10.
We're geared up here at LAFA to distribute it in a grant program similar to what we did the loan and grant program after Gustav and Ike. And we're working feverishly to get those monies. And the first installation of that would be $10 million. But we haven't received those. As soon as we receive those, we're going to try to get that money back into the hands to cover uninsured losses.
Morris says he knows farmers who went out of business because of years of low prices and disasters. And eventually, you could see the difference at the grocery store.
People need to understand that their food doesn't come from Walmart or Kroger. It comes from these farms. And without a safety net, as more farmers go out of business, we could potentially have a food shortage in the United States. And that's something we can't afford to have.
In the interest of full disclosure, Dustin Morris is Congressman Ralph Abraham's son-in-law. Morris says he hopes that his father-in-law will be able to get some of those needed changes put into the farm bill. And as you just heard, Commissioner Strain says when that first $10 million check arrives, the Louisiana Agriculture Finance Authority will be ready to distribute those dollars.